Welcome back to Daytime. And before the break, I was talking about, well, who farted? There we go. You see,
who's holding the book?
I'm now holding the book, you see. And like I was telling Neil, this is the greatest day for me in television history for me because I can use the word farted on air. Because Neil wrote it Did I just say wrote it? Did I just sit there like... Neil wrote this great book called Who Farted. It's a great collection of kids' stories and stuff, 2 poems and things like that. So it's great. And Neil Crone is joining us now. Neil, I got to say, what a pleasure for us to have you here.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm just thrilled to be here on Hump Month.
It technically starts tomorrow, just to let you know. And Christian can let you know what that requires. Off air, perhaps. Off air, perhaps.
I'll be meeting in the office shortly after the show, folks.
But it's so great to have you on. Obviously, you have a wild career of so many different things going on. You know, the acting, the writing, comedic work, things like that. Of course, you've seen him in the local papers, his editorial. I read that, my news advertiser. But, writing this book, what was sort of the catalyst for this for you?
My kids. I mean, I've been, that book is sort of the product of, my boys are now 20 and 17 years old. But, as a self-unemployed artist, I got to be at home a lot with my kids, which is one of the blessings of growing up with them and just watching them. And so over the years, I was able to sort of play with words. I've always liked to write. And so I've just been sort of writing these poems off and on throughout that, 10, 15-year span when they were very little. Yeah. And we finally decided, why don't we put them together and package them? And I've been going around to schools reading them, and the kids seem to dig them. So it's been a lot of fun.
So now that your boys are a little older, and you're going back to the schools, you have 2 sons, right? I'm from 2 sons, which is neat. Now I have a daughter and a son, so it's cool. It's a different dynamic. But what's it like getting back into the system, like going into the school system and like, whoa, the boys are older, and how does it feel as a dad?
It's fun because this is I primarily talk to very young kids when I'm reading the stories to the kids, like from kindergarten to grade 6 or 7 max usually. Yeah. And the kids are so funny because we have a little Q&A at the end of the poetry reading, and the stuff they ask you is hysterical. It's just like the big one is always, "Are you rich?
Are you rich?"
Well, I remember my son came home one day from school, this is years ago, and he said, "Dad, are we rich?" I said, "No, why would you ask that?" He said, "Well, one of the guys in school said you're on TV and that you're an actor." I said, "No, son, I'm a Canadian actor."
That's right. That's right. So true.
Very true. Very, very true.
Do you think Relic from that, do you think Relic's rich?
Relic.
I'm just wondering, Hey, I got to ask you, too, because in the last few years you had, some health challenges and stuff. Is this... And I'm very proud of you for all the stuff you did for colon cancer and everything.
The colon cancer guy comes out with a book called Who Farted?
I know, I gotta say that's pretty wild, right? But like, because obviously this, challenging times, did this influence you on sort of the way you looked at life a bit more now?
Well, kind of. I mean, stuff's very light and it's very fun, and I mean, laughter's always been a huge part of my life and our family life as well and stuff. And so I think, I think it infuses everything you do, right? I mean, you get a second kick at the can. And,
you sure do, man.
And I'm very thrilled that this has come out. I mean, I've always kind of wanted to get it out there, and it's no fun having the stories on your hard drive. You want to be able to get them out and let the kids laugh and stuff.
But I wanted to say something very much about what you went through and stuff, that you used humor all through when you were battling.
Yeah,
and you were a really big influence for a lot of people, not just in the DR, but across Canada.
Well, that's nice to
hear.
So
thank you very much, because
my pleasure.
You need people like yourself that when they're challenged, face it head on and show humor and show dignity through it, and people need to hear that. So thank you.
I just don't want to give it any more power than it already has, right?
Absolutely.
So laugh at it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, back to the book, because you must have
back to Who Farted.
Back to Who Farted, folks.
We're gonna put a little tally how many times Christian says farted on air.
Do you not love that?
At least that's the F word you can say, right?
It's the right. Welcome to the right F word today on Daytime. No, do you have any? Do you have any favorites in here? Well, maybe you could read first.
It's funny. The backstory to this is, I mean, the story, when we first put the book together, it was entitled, we took the title of another poem, which is called The Melderson's Dog is Sitting on Me, which was kind of a cute little poem and kind of funny. But as I went around from school to school and I read the poems, inevitably, the poem that got the hugest laugh was who farted, you know, and the kids just got a huge kick out of it. So I can read that one if you'd like. I'd love to read it. It's such a great one.
Sure. Well, we got 1 minute, so maybe we can even do it in the next spot if it's too long.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll find out where it is, and we'll come back to it.
That's good.
But yeah, because it's always a huge winner. And again, my buddy Wes Terrell did the illustrations for us,
stuff.
and they're so funny. Wes is a bit of a lunatic himself, and so he did a great job.
Which is great.
Love it.
So Neil, when we come back from the break, we're going to do a little reading from Who Farted, which
beautiful.
I love saying too. And then can we talk a little bit about some of the great shows you've done over the years?
Love to.
Because a lot of big fans
including a
here.
game show that I alluded to a little bit
Julie was
earlier.
talking
We
about
will
that.
find out whether or not he was really on it.
Absolutely.
And then I'll get my autograph, maybe.
And the thing is, I'm always wondering, do people ask him when he's out there in public, Neil, will you relic on the beachcombers? All that and more coming up after the break. More with Neil Crone.
Would kill